Welcome back, and we are in the mission in Utter Darkness. This mission is the last of the Zero Two missions, and it's basically a defense type mission. So what that means is, you're supposed to defend your base until you get overrun. If you, let's say, and it is, I'll say this out right now that at the end when you do get overrun, as long as you don't lose everything in terms of your units, you can even lose all your nexuses, all your buildings, pylons, whatever. But if your units are, you still have units, then the mission won't necessarily end. You can still finish the mission if you haven't quite gotten the 2,500 kills. You can still get the kills if you have the units to do it. So just keep that in mind. Now, on brutal, you're again. I've said this. Already, but your objective is to your primary objective, I should say, is to kill 2,500 units. I will say this though that killing a one of those big nasty hybrids earns you the same amount of kills as killing a wee lowly little zergling. So again, keep that in mind as well. I will not lie. This mission took me about 5 tries. In the first tries, I tried to take the upper left base, the gold base, but that did not, it was, at least for me, it was too difficult to defend. And you can see here that my poor building placement is not the best, and yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Basically, for the first couple of tries, I tried to get the top left gold base, since why not? You get more minerals, you build more stuff, you live longer. That was the assumption. After doing that once or twice, I figured, okay, either I can't do this, or I just don't have the skill to make this work, or the right strategy. So I didn't do it after the second try. I just couldn't defend both bases, even when I didn't find it was really that helpful. I mean, if you don't defend the base, then what's the point of getting it? I mean, you can get it like a tiny bit extra minerals, I guess, and more gas, but you'd have to build probes and have to multitask way more, and just yada yada yada. It keeps going on and on. So, I mean, you might turn a profit, but I just couldn't multitask enough. So, taking the top left base was out of the order. I then proceeded to go on the StarCraft 2, the Team Liquidpedia, and watch some other YouTube videos, and some people were doing this thing where they had the Dark Templar blocking off the 3 choke points, the 3 entrances to their bases. Again, that really, I mean, if you can do it, that's great, but for me, again, I wasn't able to do that effectively. In the end, I settled for a strategy of walling. The AI, even on brutal, has a difficult time breaking down the walls, and it takes them quite a while to do it. So this is good for me because I need all the time I need that I can get to properly react in a decent amount of time. So that's what I did. It was really kind of easy. I mean, well, easier in comparison to my other strategies that I tried to use to complete this mission. The walling was quite effective. It really was. You get swarmed with tons and tons of units, and if you have that critical amount of Colossus combined with your a decent choke point, you can kill quite a lot of stuff. So I'll just go through the strategy right now. Maybe I should have done it earlier, but whatever. Okay, so basically strategy is to focus on walling. You wall off your 3 entrances with about 2 gateways each. You can get away with, you can do more, but basically 2 is enough. 2 should be enough if you have decent building placement. You can see that one of the entrances, like right here, that I didn't do a good job, but if you do a good job, then this mission will be that much easier, or that much well done. And of course, try and lift up the hybrids, because they do a great amount of damage that you don't want to take necessarily, especially in the early game. First off, just keep on building Phoenixes and Colossus, because you really want that AoE damage, because it's gonna be hit with lots of Zerglings, lots of mass units and whatnot. You can keep your Colossus like in one control group and just basically move from whichever entrance is getting attacked, or you can keep a equal amount at each entrance. I think I should have kept 2 control groups and basically ignored the 3rd entrance that wasn't being attacked. Even in the later stages, I mean, you're not gonna get attacked in all 3 directions until very, very late in the game, and once that happens, you generally should move up the ramp. So I made a mistake. Live and learn. Basically, what you want to do is you want to keep 1 to 2 control groups and just move around your Colossus and your army to basically kill the army, to defend your entrances once they get attacked. Again, there's gonna be 2 attacks at once, and sometimes it might seem like you're getting attacked on all 3 entrances, but that really is I mean, you're getting okay. So you might sometimes find yourself having to defend more than 2 locations, but that's because while one spawn, basically a Zerg spawn is going on, the previous spawn still hasn't been cleaned up. So it feels like you're defending 3 positions, but really only a maximum of 2 spawns from the entrances come out of 3. So basically, again, wall off. Try and build Colossus and Phoenixes in the beginning, and then slowly move to Void Rays and Carriers once you can, because the Zerg seems to build lots and lots of ground units. They still build lots of air units, and this will become apparent later in the game, especially right at the end, where they're attacking you with a billion Zerg. But generally, they have less anti-air and air units than ground units. And if you have, a considerable amount of carriers and whatnot, you're gonna get through this alright. Again, I didn't do this as well as I could have, so I'll just recap and be quiet after that and just let you watch the video if you want. Generally, just wall in. You just want to wall in as well you can. You can build some cannons in the back, but if they have hydraulics or whatever, they can pick those off. Basically, you have 1 to 2 control groups of your army, your ground army, and have your air units in a separate control group. Once you get to the very end, like you've moved up your rank, you just have 1 control group, and that might make things easier. And just defend. That's basically it. Later in the mission, 9 swarms are going to be popping up. Take those out. You can have some cannons in your base as well, but generally that's the one or two cannons isn't gonna take out the Niduses, and once Nidus does start to pop up, one or two cannons isn't gonna kill it in time, or one cannon isn't gonna kill it in time for it to spawn like lots of broodlings and whatnot. And then your cannons are just gonna be stupid and to attack the broodlings instead of or the stuff that comes out of the Niduses instead of finishing off the Nidus. So just be aware of that. And do a better job of making sure your Colossus doesn't die. I did a bad job here. Too many stuff is dying, but I still got through the mission A-okay. Once you do have to move up past your two punch up the ramp, so that you only have two entrances, you should wall that off as well. Sorry about that. Yeah, you should wall that off as well. Once the Protoss Archive gets close to completing its objective, like 1 minute, for some reason the Zerg didn't make a final push. I thought it would, but for some reason it didn't. So, you know, if that happened, great. You can just pull your forces back earlier rather than later and set up a defense earlier rather than later. I did a bad job here. You're gonna wanna keep upgrades. You're gonna wanna max out upgrades. Get the attack upgrades first, and then get the defense upgrades like armor and shields. Try and just basically get the attack upgrades first for air and ground, and then get the shield, because that will help your air and ground units in building as well. And then finally get rid of the armor upgrades. 333. Try and beeline through. Try to get those as fast as possible. I really didn't do a good job of doing that this game. And try and get the Void Rays and the air units once they do come out. Carriers.
This is the hour of truth. No attempt.
And that's basically it.
The wrath of Ire's champions.
Executor Celendus, unleash the full power of your forces. There may be no tomorrow.
Intaro Tassadar. Zeratul.
You have not enough minerals. You address me?